There is a common assumption in modern culture that choosing not to get a tattoo is a passive decision, that it simply means someone has not yet decided or has not found the right design. But psychologically, for many people, choosing not to have tattoos is not an absence of choice. It is a choice in itself. People who remain tattoo-free often live in a world where visual self-expression is encouraged, even expected. They see tattoos as symbols of identity, memory, belonging, or rebellion. And yet, they pause, not because they dislike tattoos, but because their relationship with identity works differently. For some, identity feels internal rather than external. They experience who they are as something fluid, changing with time, context, and experience. Marking the body permanently can feel like freezing a version of themselves that no longer exists later. Not wrong, just no longer accurate. Psychologically, these individuals tend to value adaptability. They are comfortable with the idea that who they are today may not reflect who they will be in 10 years. And permanence, in any form, can feel restrictive rather than meaningful. Another common trait is a heightened awareness of time. People who choose not to get tattoos often think in long horizons. They mentally project themselves forward. Different jobs, different relationships, different lives. The question is not, do I like this now? But will this still feel true when everything else changes? This does not mean they fear commitment in general. Many of them commit deeply, to people, to values, to work, but they separate emotional commitment from physical permanence. One lives in the mind, the other lives on the body. There is also an element of control that often goes unnoticed. For some individuals, the unmarked body represents autonomy. It is one of the few things in life that remains untouched by trends, expectations, or social signals, not as rebellion, but as quiet ownership. In psychology, this is often linked to a strong internal locus of control. These people feel that meaning does not need to be displayed to be valid. If something matters, it matters whether or not others can see it. Social observation plays a role as well. Many people without tattoos have spent years watching how tattoos are interpreted by others. They notice how meanings are projected, assumed, or misunderstood. A symbol intended as personal can quickly become public property in the eyes of strangers. Over time, some individuals decide that ambiguity feels safer. An unmarked body invites fewer assumptions, fewer questions, less explanation. This does not mean they avoid being seen. It means they choose when and how they are understood. There is also a sensory component that is rarely discussed. Some people are highly sensitive to bodily sensations. The idea of altering the skin permanently can trigger discomfort, not fear, but unease. Not everyone experiences the body as a canvas. For some, it is a boundary. Interestingly, people who choose not to have tattoos are often highly reflective. They spend time thinking before acting. They tend to delay decisions until they feel internally aligned. And when alignment never arrives, they are comfortable leaving the decision unresolved. This tolerance for uncertainty is psychologically significant. Many people seek tattoos as anchors, ways to stabilize identity during emotional transitions. Those who remain tattoo-free often anchor themselves internally instead. Cultural background also matters. In some environments, tattoos represent freedom. In others, they carry stigma or professional consequences. Choosing not to get a tattoo can be a form of strategic self-preservation rather than conformity. But perhaps the most overlooked reason is simplicity. Some people experience peace in minimalism. They prefer fewer signals, fewer declarations, fewer permanent statements. Their sense of self does not require emphasis. From a psychological perspective, this reflects contentment rather than indecision. Not everything meaningful needs to be made visible. Importantly, choosing not to have tattoos does not indicate judgment toward those who do. Most tattoo-free individuals understand that expression looks different for everyone. Their choice is personal, not comparative. In the end, the absence of tattoos is not emptiness, it is space. Space for change, space for reinterpretation, space to remain undefined. And for some people, that openness is exactly where they feel most like themselves. If you found this perspective interesting, you may want to explore more quiet patterns of human behavior. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy calm, neutral explorations of psychology. Without judgment, without noise, just observation.